Today we're making the Independence Block. Welcome to Where Wendy Creates. I'm Wendy. Today we are going to do a block of the month. Now this kit comes from Joanne. We know Joanne is no longer, but it's going to give you a great idea of the different kind of blocks that we can make. Now this is a 2004 block of the month from Joanne Fabric, and it is called an Independence Square block. So today, my friends, this is the block we are making. I'm so excited. Let's get started. First thing we're going to do is open this up and lay out our pieces. And then we have the full instructions, which, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and do those for you. So let's lay out our block pieces. In our center, we're going to have a 5-patch effect. So we're going to outline our block and make block corners. So we want to put all of our pieces out, kind of like designing it on your design wall, and then we're going to put them together. And then on our edges, I'm going to have 2 pieces with a block that is highlighted for all intents and purposes. So I'm going to match these up with my corners. And I'm going to, let's go ahead and line it once with another row of solid color. And that row is going to go around our 5-patch in the center, completely enclosing it. And it's in essence going to be our cornerstone for our outside blocks once that is done. So it's going to completely encapsulate it and be our cornerstone for our outside blocks. And we have 2 matching or coordinating colors, I should say, that we're going to put on the outside as strips. And when they come together, they're going to be the same size as here. Now, as you can see, I have a foam display board in between my sewing machine table, and the bed. So this is a way that I find that I can sew in a bedroom and extend my table, so I've got a nice display table. I can sit at the same chair and have my Husqvarna Viking with me. Now, yes, for all of you who know me, this is Sylvia, and Sylvia is my mom, and she is helping us today in creating this beautiful block. And it looks like it doesn't go together, but my friends, it's going to flow together so well. So I'm very, very excited to bring this to you today. And we are using several different colors and several different sizes to make this very complex, but honestly simple block. And you can impress your friends, you can impress your spouse, you can impress yourself by making one of these with me as well. So let me do some math calculations, and I'll be back to let you know what sizes work and what size block that we're going to make it to today. Okay, so we are using 7 different colors, and we're going to start at the very center and build our block from the inside out. Now, I like setting my stitch length at about a 2, and we are going to be using our Husqvarna Viking Platinum 755 Royal Edition today. This is an older machine, so I'm going to show you a similar machine in the description. And as an Amazon affiliate, I do earn a small commission for any qualified purchase you would make through my link in the description. And that only helps bring me more beautiful tutorials to you without costing you anything. It's a great way to support the channel and use the tools I use. So Sylvia, let's get started. And just like that, my friends, this beautiful pattern has begun. And we're going to join our 3rd block to our pattern piece. And in essence, my friends, we are just making rows. So we are going across 3, going across 3, going across 3, and then we'll join these together just like we do any other block. Easy peasy, my friends. So we're going to finger press this one real quick, lay it down with the rest, and pick up the next 2 pieces, join them. Now you can use a pin if you like for that 3rd piece, but it's not necessary because you know it's going on the block opposite the other one to make a row. And because this is someone else's pattern, I can't tell you the measurements to make these pieces, but I will do a calculation in an upcoming video where we're going to make a bunch of these blocks in a different size so that you'll be able to grab the measurements from there. But here, trust me, my friends, y'all can do this. Piece of cake. Easy peasy. And this again is the Independence block. And if you notice, when we start, we do hold on to our strings in the back. And when we're done, we immediately trim our threads from our block. No one needs those pesky threads hanging out. I'm not cutting them, or Sylvia's not cutting them right at the edge, but we are still trimming them. Now, we need to match up our seams. So what we're going to do here is actually put our seams in, and we're going to create like a little sandwich effect. One seam's going to go one direction, the other seam's going to go the other direction, and matching right at that stitch line. And that's where we're going to start our sewing. See my finger, mom's finger over the threads when we start. And that keeps your thread from nesting. So hint and trick, that's what you need to do. If you're nesting, it's because you're not holding those threads. Okay, so we've done our first 2 rows. Now we're going to add our 3rd row to make our square for the center. And again, this is such a beautiful but easy block to make. You measure your center, you've got 1/4 inch seams, and then you have an outside round. Now, if you made this larger, this would be a beautiful block in and of itself. So consider this being a beautiful finished block in your quilt to whatever size blocks your other blocks are. We're going to line up our seams so that they nest together well. Check and double check. And our center block is complete. We're going to go ahead and finger press our seams. And then we'll pop it over to the ironing board in just a moment. And now we start on the outside of our block. So now we're doing the 4 sides, and we're starting with the 2 blocks that are right in the middle. So the 2 strips I'm sewing together now are these 2 strips here that are at the sides, the edges. we're going to do these, and then we'll meet at the ironing board to press them all before we add any more pieces together. Beautiful. 2 more to go. And now it is time to press all of our seams with the iron. And we do have ourselves on the hot cotton quilter setting with the steam. Lay our blocks back out as they go. And do we like the green side? Probably on the out. So, how complicated is this? It looks it, but my friends, it is so not. So now we're going to take it and add it to the next piece. Can you see it already? Look, all of these are the same size. So we're going to make a row right here. Then we're going to make a row right here, a row right here, a row, and a row. Awesome. It actually came together. Look at this. Look at this. Easy peasy from this point on. You've just got to see the puzzle and know how to solve it. So let's go ahead and add those pieces together. And note when we trim our threads, we're trimming them about a 1/4 inch out because we haven't joined them to the rest of our blocks yet, and we definitely don't want that unraveling on us. Now, this machine does a lock stitch, so it's not necessary, but it's a good habit to be in. So Sylvia, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is this block to do?
It's if you stay in rows, it is not hard at all.
Piece of cake, my friends. You got this. Beginner to advanced. This is your block. It looks more complex than it actually is going together. Look at that. Then we join the top, and 1 row is complete. Piece of cake.
As you see, I'm trying to always make the seam go the go the same direction as what I'm sewing. So if it was going the opposite, I'd have to hold it down, which sometimes you may because there's multiple seams.
Tips and tricks. When you can, my friends, have the seams on the top so you can manage them, and have them laying down so they go in line with your sewing process. Row 1 complete. 2 complete.
Row 3. Row 4. This seam is on the bottom, but it's going down,
Okay.
so it's not going to be a problem.
Last piece, and then we sew our rows together.
All together.
Beautiful. And we've popped a couple of pins in at 2 integral seams. And my friends, pins are extra fingers. So I like using pins and clips when I can, when I'm doing a length of fabric or multiple blocks putting together, because the pins are fingers. So the needle down is a finger position, the pins are fingers, and my own fingers are all in use. All right, now to add the sides. Just finger press this a little bit, and then we will press it once we get these 2 sides on. And we're going to use a couple of pins right at the integral seam lines.
Oh, come on.
Fun with fabric.
There.
And tips and tricks, my friends. When you start with one sewing machine, you want to finish with one sewing machine, because everyone's 1/4 inch is just a slight bit off. So if you switch machines, your 1/4 inch could be off, or if a different person makes half your blocks and the other person makes the other half, your 1/4 inch could be off as well. And that's why even when you're perfectly cutting and perfectly sewing, you still want to trim the finished blocks before you put them all together. One more side. And our last row going on our block before we press it and call it ready to trim.
My seam allowance started getting a little shallow there. So we're going to have to go back here up to where it was normal and redo that. And we know that's going in the right direction because we sewed across it. And finished product.
Ta-da! What do you think? Another beautiful block done. And this is called, what's it called? Independence Block. Independence Block. Beautiful. All right, off to the iron. And then we are ready to put it in the stack with the rest of these blocks. I'm so excited. At the end of these block tutorials, my friends, we're going to make the whole quilt. I'm so excited. What do you think? Hit that comment button. I want to know your thoughts. Have you ever made an independence block? This is pretty cool. Just this center block would be spectacular on its own. Adding this border would be spectacular on its own. But look when you put everything else in together. Love this. Thank you, Sylvia.
You are welcome.
Thank you,
Enjoy.
Sylvia.